somehow through the, you're coming up as an artist, meeting people, this dude Rohit was running the radio programs there and was like, hey, do y'all want to do a radio show? And so me and my man Bishop G was like, we're going to do FNF Radio, right?
Bishop
First 15
G,
Radio.
Remember that? Yeah.
And so, but it was either the show before or the show after. We didn't know what we were doing. So either the show after us was Fort Home Radio, which was Virgil. So Virgil was DJing, playing like music from all over the world, all this different stuff. And so then he would stick around to produce our show, meaning like work the boards, plug everything in, run the music, stuff like that. So Virgil was like our tech production dude. And then that was how our relationship kind of began. And then it went, St. Alfred came to Chicago. He went to a Ye concert. He knew A-Track from DJing. Yeah. A-Track was Ye's DJ at the time, and then that's how all that stuff starts to happen. So anything that I needed, like even early Lupe merch is all Virgil.
Yeah, it's the Almanac, a rap show. I got opinions and they all factual. No news, just information that you won't be able to use unless you're at a dinner party trying to impress who's in attendance with endless tidbits of nonsense. We're gonna have a good time, I promise. You two rabbit holes, ready deep dives, pulling out old interviews from the archives. Styles, fads, trends, all of that. It's the Almanac of Rap. Welcome to the season finale of the Almanac of Rap, the show that wonders if anyone has noticed that there's usually a joke right here. I'm your host, Donwill, and today's episode is about AI, and our guest is Lupe Fiasco. Lupe is a one-of-a-kind talent who's skilled at making songs with layered meanings that are still jamming as fuck. We'll get into all of that in a second, but first, I gotta kick the ballistics. AI is everywhere, and much like sodium or sugar, it's the not-so-secret ingredient that makes things more delicious. And by delicious, I mean convenient at the risk of your own health if you don't watch your intake. And just so we're on the same page about what AI actually is, I Googled the term, and ironically enough, their AI overview told me that artificial intelligence, aka AI, is a set of technologies that enable machines to mimic human intelligence and perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. It's a lot of intelligence. Believe it or not, AI has been around since the 50s. But thanks to the evolving tech landscape, we're seeing a more rapid implementation of it than ever. And overall, there have been some interesting use cases, especially within music.
This is my regular voice.
And this is my voice with the Kanye West AI voice filter.
This is crazy, but can it make me rap like Kanye West? Let's hear what this AI filter can do in verse 2. I'm ready, yay. How about you?
This is verse 2, Kanye from Shot-Town, here to bring back the soul, get down like James Brown.
When I say I'm trying to build this rapper, I'm actually going to write the song, find the right beats, find the right lyrics and everything. We're gonna go with Jay-Z's lyrics. Jordan Lucas, we're going with his flows. We're gonna go Nelly choruses. Ja Rule, let's just go his appearance. Lil Pump, we'll go production, I suppose. We got Tupac's voice. Okay, I guess there's nothing else left to do but pull up old Fruity Loops studio and start writing this rap song. All right, well, here it is. I Love It Hot in Here by Lil Pac Z.
Yeah, I'm the blueprint, picking pieces in the city. From the streets to the sweets, I show no pity. Started from the bottom, now we climbing to the top. Hustle around the block, now I'm making deals, now stop.
Write a Drake verse about how he doesn't like beans and chili. I want to taste the beef and spices, not just the bland bean. Drizzy, Drake, talk to him. He's dropping balls. Let's copy this verse, put it in an UberDuck, synthesize.
Test the beef and spices, not just the bland beef.
Okay, let's pull this up in Ableton.
Stick to my guns and say no to the beans. I don't like them in my chili. It's just how it's gonna.
Don't use that, that's awful. Companies like Spotify have even turned their algorithm into a full-on character named DJ X. Here he is on Good Morning America talking about the character that he created.
Hey, what's going on, Barry? It's really great to be here with you. I'm Xavier. My friends call me X, and from this moment on, I'm going to be your own personal AI DJ on Spotify.
The man, how did you become the voice?
You know, I've been in the music industry for a while. I was on a record label side for a bit, but then I came to my dream company, Spotify, 8 years ago. And then somewhere in the mix, I started getting asked to host podcasts. in different company events and being a company spokesperson. And then AI DJ came along. I was already referred to as the voice of Spotify within the company. And they said, let's make it official. We got this really cool thing coming out. It's going to shock the world. And then they said it has to be you.
Now, he's essentially just a guided tour of your playlist and recommended songs, but I ain't mad at it, because I'm all for humans taking AI's jobs. So more power to you, Xavier. One case use that did not go over too well was when Timbaland said that he wanted to do a full album with AI Biggie Smalls.
I always wanted to work with Big, and I never got a chance to. Until today, it came out right. Play.
Hell no. Personally, when I heard the song, hearing Biggie say it's not giving was jarring in a special kind of way that you can only feel if you're a person of a certain age. Fuck no. With that in mind, some rappers have used AI voice models for good, like Beanie Siegel, whose voice was forever changed when he was shot in 2006, which caused his lung to collapse. It took him a long time to even be able to speak again at all. And he's been using the technology to train his own voice model to get back to that signature raspy flow.
I think I found a good friend with this AI thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people frown on AI, but I think that's going to work out for me. Yeah, I had a colorful life, so I've been through things that hindered my...
So you finna say the AI got you sounding like beans back then, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real soon, too.
Ty Dolla $ign is also a fan of the technology as it relates to stem separation, among other things. And if you don't know what stem separation is, here he is to explain it.
We used a lot of AI on making my newest album with Ye, with drums or with different sounds. You know, you could separate things now. So it's like when back in the day we would just sample a song straight up and just take the whole little piece. Now I could just take a piece and only take the drum, only take the vocal.
Dolla $ign. And of course, AI played a big model in the latest rap beef. For instance, there was Drake's tailor-made diss track that featured AI voice models of Snoop and Tupac. Wildly offensive. We also had King Wallonius using AI to turn Rick Ross's throwaway joke about Drake having a BBL into a 60s era soul song that Metro Boomin then sampled to create a modern day banger. And there was also Hi Whitney, a very fake Drake song about Kendrick's very real wife. Sidebar. Does anybody else remember that fake Drake dude named Izzy Drake that was popping up and doing club appearances based on simply looking like a poorly drawn version of Drake?
Yo, it's your boy Izzy Drake, OVO Tings. You already know we outside. I just signed with Celebrity Boxing. August 27th, I'm calling Drake out for a friendly boxing match. If I win, you gotta sign me to OVO, you gotta give me $1 million. If you win, I'll change my name. It's an OVO Ting, you already know.
We live in a very wild time. This all begs the question of if there can ever be an actual AI rapper that's accepted into the culture. And if FN Mecca is any indication, the answer is a resounding no. No. And if you don't know who FN Mecca is, here's a quick clip of an Earth Gang interview from 60 Minutes where they explain it all.
They remember seeing AI being used to create music with the inception of virtual rapper FN Mecca.
It's an AI artist, which was some computer-generated black kid who had this type of style and the swag of so many black kids that are actually living right now in the music that they create.
The digital avatar went viral on social media, claiming to use AI to generate songs, earning a record deal before public backlash forced the record label to pull the deal, apologizing to the black community for what they say was their insensitivity.
You're using this thing to make money when you could actually just hire somebody for real and just put money behind somebody who has a real story, who has real talent.
They're trying to make a quick buck while cutting us out the process.
Fuck FN Mecca. One rapper who's doing cool things with AI is today's guest, Lupe Fiasco. He teamed up with Google's large language model to create a writing tool called TextFX. In our conversation with him, he talks about that technology as well as his career and his martial arts history. Let's get into the interview right now. Today's guest is one of the most innovative lyricists currently making music. To To say that he's mastered the concept album would be an understatement. And as of late, he's been making strides in the worlds of education and technology. And if that's not enough, he's been mastering martial arts too. It's Lupe Fiasco. It's good, man.
What's up, sir?
Got a fist bump, you know what I'm saying? Oh, let me.
Oh, I was just, harmony, peace, all those things.
I appreciate. Thank you for bringing the calm to the table. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
You need that. But so I'm gonna try my best not to nerd out on this interview. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been following your career and following your music for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But first things first. I can't make a promise on that though. But first things first. When was the last time you were on a skateboard? You still kicking and pushing?
Sorry, young man, there's no skating here, and so we kick, push, kick, push, coast.
I had a bunch of cars, but none of them work because I'm never there to start them. And it was some cars I didn't even start doing since the pandemic. Like, took it to service, put it in the garage, and left it there for 5 years. So that crept up on me not too long ago, and I had no cars, and I needed to get to the grocery store. So I was like, yo, I got this electric scooter on my skateboard. I was like, yo, I'm gonna take my skateboard. And man, I took a skateboard to the grocery store, and almost died.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, it was bad, because I live on a big hill, so it was like.
Whenever I see people skating downhill, that shit, like, how do you stop?
But I didn't get killed going down the hill. I got killed on the flat with some groceries on the sidewalk, trying to maybe a block away from the crib, and I hit a crack and tumbled over and dropped the bag. It was bad.
Damn. Well, I'm happy you didn't break anything or nothing.
No.
Maybe
my ego, and it was in front of somebody too, and it was like kind of at night, and I was like, yo, what are you doing out here to see me take an L like that?
All right, so that was an icebreaker question. So, but since we're on the subject of food and liquor, a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You've been
I like how you did that.
Kick push, transition.
Okay. Groceries, food, okay. All right.
You're gonna be analyzing this interview from a lyrical standpoint.
I ain't got no choice.
You don't have a.
That's just what my mind does.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But so you've been shouting free chill for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's finally home.
Yeah.
And Food and Liquor was, I want to say, the last project you worked, based on research, was the last project you worked on with him around.
Yeah.
And Samurai is the current project, and he's back at the helm, executive producing.
Yeah.
My question is, what was it like working with him again, and how did his presence affect this album?
We worked on a little bit of the Cool. I think he went into prison when the Cool was just either coming out or something like that. Back then, the tail of those albums, we might have been working for 2 years on a record. But yeah, the first record where he was back fully. But even with Samurai, it's weird. So he would be in jail. He'd been out for a year now. He was in for 17. He would be in jail over the phone, still doing EP stuff.
Oh shit! Really?
And he would get the lawyers would get him music or something like that. He had a way. I call him a reality bender because he can just bend physics and just make shit happen. But he would do little stuff like that over the phone. He couldn't really hear the records or try and play the records for him over the phone. He was always trying to get things to he was trying to create a system where the engineer could play something over the phone. He could hear it just as if he was there. It was wild shit. But this was the first time that we were all back. But even that's with a grain of salt because I did Samurai back during the pandemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It just as a concept that I was building. It was kind of unfinished. And he called me one day and was like, hey, from the joint. And was like, yo, I need you to do a record. I need you to do an album. We need to do an album. I was like, all right, I'm working on this one thing about Amy Winehouse and da-da-da. And he's like, nah, fuck that. I need you to do something new. I was like, yo, but I'm already knee deep in something. He's like, no, do something new. So that's where Drill Music and Zion came from.
Okay.
Because it was like, all right, I'm gonna just do something from scratch, but I'm gonna try and do it in a day, so I can get back to working on Samurai. And so I'm gonna just do this whole album in a day, so this nigga will be satisfied and leave me the fuck alone. Then I go back. That's how I get Drill Music. And then when he came home, I went to the studio and just played him everything that I had sitting. So I was like, I got this idea. I've been working on something like this. Been working on something like that.
You played him bodies of works? Did you have sitting or just
concepts, bodies of work, and then I played him the pieces for Samurai. He's like, oh, that's it. And I was like, nigga, I told you. We been did this shit. What's wrong with you? But nah, it was beautiful. We got to work on completing Samurai.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Finishing the project. finishing the thought. But he be in the studio every Friday. Like we got a big compound in Chicago, and he be in there, take all the producers, all the musicians, writers, songwriters, artists. They just be in there every Friday, vibing, coming up, cooking up shit. So.
You derailed my train of thought because you said you made drill music in Zion in a day.
3 days, turned into 3 days.
Like when you say you made it in 3 days, I mean like did you already have the idea kind of sitting dormant and you just like pounced on it, or did you just like from scratch just decide to work on it? Decide to make it?
I had the name Drill Music in Zion. I said it came up in a freestyle I did, and I was like, oh, that's dope. Let me say that. And then I got a ton of soundtrack beats. So Soundtrack, my producer, Kid Push, Paris, Tokyo, Superstar, all that. So I got tons of beats from him. So I was just like, all right, I already got the beats. So, but starting from scratch, meaning no preconceived notion other than the title. And then just, I would open up a beat of folders, a folder of beats, some I never heard. Most of them I never heard before. And I would just play it. I'm like, okay, let's go. That's the intro.
Just like from like a little bit, you like,
yeah. And I might do a little bit of like, let me hear another beat, but it really was like, as soon as I heard the beat, like, okay, that's the next song. And then just went and tried to do it in a day, but it turned into like 3 days.
That's insane. For the level of, because again, like for the work that you do, every song, every album has so many layers. Yeah. And it's dense, and it's thoughtful in a way that like a casual listener can listen to it and enjoy it, but a super fan will get Easter eggs and stories and concepts. So the thing that I want to know about your discography is every album a concept album, and is there an overarching theme to the whole discography?
So grain of salt with all that. So there's definitely albums that are not concept albums. Okay. So like Drug Us Light was actually just like my last record on Atlantic that they had like interest in. So they had like points or something on the record. Yeah. And I was just like, all right. And I was like, yo, I'm never giving Atlantic anything that I care about. And it just so happened to be after Tetsuo and You. And it was like, all right, I'm gonna just give them a record so I can just be off the label, right?
Hit it with that Frank Ocean,
so
the exit album.
I gave him, so that's what Drug Us Light is, right? Yeah. So that's definitely not a concept record. And then like, what else? There's things that have a theme that run through them, right? And for some, it just might be the title, like what's happening. So like House EP that I did with Kaylin Ellis and Virgil Abloh, that was like, because we were in the house, you know, like we were in, and then it's like, all right, let me get a picture of a house that my homeboy's dad painted, and that'll be the cover, and you know, we'll talk about Korea, I guess, have Virgil talk about cribs or something like that, you know, like whatever. But like The Cool, you could say is a concept album, but it's only like 4 or 5 records that deal with the concept, and then the rest of it is almost like commercials. And if it was like a TV show and it came on one day, it's like, all right, a percentage of this is the actual show, then another percentage of this is like the commercials that you would see.
I got you.
Between the shows. The only one that's super cohesive, and I'll land on this, the only one that's super cohesive is Drug Us Wave, but only the first half of Drug Us Wave. So the first half of Drug Us Wave is about, you know, slaves who jumped off the back of slave ship, then died, and walked back to Africa singing slave ships on the way back, right? But the other second half of that record is just like joints. They're Drug Us means drugs. So the second half of the album is like about drugs in a loose way. Songs about ecstasy, songs about this, that, and the third. But so I don't think that I have like a true, pure concept album, kind of how like A$AP Rock IT would have, or like even Food. Like I don't think I have concept records that are woven together like that deeply and intricately, but I got a couple.
All right, so I feel like asking you which album is your favorite is kind of an unfair question, but what song would you consider to be like the centerpiece of your discography, or what album would you consider to be like a good, like your favorite album that you have? I said it's an unfair question. That I asked you.
Man, it depends because they age and they evolve.
They age,
right?
Too,
like as I age, they don't age. We age, right? And our relationship to them change. So for me, probably, like if I had to get rid of every other album and just keep one, I would keep Drug Us Wave.
So I want to move on to another topic, which is supergroups. Because as a member of a rap group myself,
Yes.
shouts to Tanya Morgan,
Yes.
I love rap groups. And I also love supergroups,
Right.
which is an amalgamation of superpower rappers.
Yeah.
You belong to a few that I want to bring up in this interview. So before I say this, a while back you posted a tentative schedule of album releases on your Instagram page. And the caption said, project info and details will no longer be teased by you as it complicates expectations and to an unmanageable degree. So with that in mind, this next question might fall under that clause, but I have to ask it because you're here at the table. Child Rebel Soldier.
Wow.
You knew it was coming.
We still talking about this.
Now, you knew it was coming though.
25 years later.
We're talking about it because you said you're gonna you said you're going to. I can't even get the question out because I knew that it was gonna do this.
Okay.
But wait. So it's Child Rebel Soldier was a group with Pharrell Williams and Kanye West. And you put out a song recently and said that it was going to be a solo project, I think tentatively. You were thinking about making it a solo project.
Okay.
Tentatively.
Right.
But my question about it is, so this is my question. Aside from is it still happening? This might be a fan theory in my mind. This is just me. You play the internet said you play songs for Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah.
And I saw Tyler at your Coachella show.
Yeah.
Are you gonna bulk him? Are we gonna make a new Tyler, the Creator Child Rebel? Is he a Child Rebel Soldier?
So the story.
You can just say the clause says we cannot talk.
The story of Child Rebel Soldiers goes like this. There was I was just doing mixtapes.
Yeah.
And mixtapes for me back in the day were like, oh, I'm gonna take this record, I'm gonna flip it, or I'm gonna take this beat and this was the era where people were still playing it safe.
Yep.
Right? So our era, when we coming up, right?
Yeah.
So people were playing it safe. And
this era.
Yeah, that. where people weren't taking risks on the rap side in terms of our generation, right? People were keeping it very standard, or people were still trying to get deals. So deals required you to kind of be in a certain frame. So I could do something like, oh, I'm finna rap over this Radiohead beat. And it'd be like, wow, you rapped over Radiohead? That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Today, it's like, oh, wow, you rapped over Radiohead. That means nothing. So that was my mixtapes. I was like, I'm gonna just do these real exotic, pieces and collabs, whatever. There was a Tom York record called The Eraser.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna take the little loop section that's rappable, I'm gonna loop it up, and I'm gonna rap over this joint, and I'm gonna put a verse on it. It was like me rapping over Radiohead beats, right, to keep it playing. And just so happened, got P to jump on the joint, and then I think Ye heard it and was like, I want to be on it too. And then it turned into like,
okay,
oh, this is pretty dope. Vashti shot a video. Okay, cool. Somewhere in between that, was in the studio, and P was like, yo, we should just be a group, right? And we should call it Child Rebel Soldiers, right? And Lupe, you gonna be the child, Ye gonna be the rebel, I'm gonna be the soldier. This is the album cover. I was like, okay, cool. Let's start doing beats. And then that's when you start getting like, Don't Stop, the remix for Everybody Knows. And all that kind of piece. And then it was just like, niggas got rich and crazy. And then it was over with. But it was always like a good idea to just could never trying to like get together. And so we would just randomly maybe be on tour. But P chasing fashion, Ye chasing fashion, Ye, all that shit come together to the point where it's just like, look, this shit not finna happen.
Yeah.
But the fans are like, I want in. But I'm telling the fans like, look, it ain't me.
Yep.
It's not Lupe, it's them. It's these two exorbitantly rich dudes, right? Out doing rich shit. And then the idea just comes about, well, like, look, if we not gonna do it, what does it look like to give it to somebody else? The brand is there, people love the brand.
Yeah.
And we can make whatever we want out of it, be whatever we want it to be. And then that's the idea that comes up where it's like, yo, what if CRS is, Tyler and, I don't know, Chance and whoever. And we just kind of like, we had our moment with it.
Yeah.
It was something that we couldn't tame, so we passed this rebellious child on to the next generation to
Somebody
see if
gotta
they
raise
can
it.
like raise the kid up,
Yeah.
right? And then it was kind of like, maybe that's a thing, maybe that's not a thing. And then it lands at like, all right, look, I'm gonna just take it back to the essence. Let's go back to that energy of me just rapping on Radiohead beats. And I had some demos of that, and I was gonna send them to P. I think I sent them to P, and was like, look, there you go. We'll let that sit, right? And if it inspires something, it inspires something. And then it didn't inspire anything. So I was like, all right,
He
cool.
got a Lego movie he working on, man. He got some shit to do.
I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna just put this out. I'm gonna tell the fans, hey, this is what it was. Ba-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna just put these records out, see what happens. And what happened was Radiohead sent a cease and desist.
This is what you get.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Take that shit off your YouTube
Not
page
Tom.
right now. And that's the end of CRS.
Moving on from CRS, since we got the closure on that.
Yeah.
Another group was the All City Chess Club.
Yes.
That group included Asher Raw, Charles Hamilton, the Cool Kids,
Yeah.
Blue, B.O.B., Diggy Simmons,
Yeah.
J. Cole,
It's a lot of people.
Wale,
Yep.
and Dosage.
Dosage,
I don't know if I got everybody. I might have left somebody out. My question is, how did the lineup come together? Why wasn't I included? I'm joking about that.
That's fine. No, you can be serious about that.
That group, to be completely honest, for me, was like, you remember when Kendrick dropped the Control verse, and if he didn't say your name, it's like,
irrelevant.
I guess you're knighted.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, there's a lot of niggas in this lineup. There's a lot of niggas.
Yes, I remember that very, very well. Okay.
But my question is, are you guys still in touch? Is there a group chat? You know what I'm saying?
There isn't a group chat, and what All City Chess Club evolved into was a very close relationship with Mickey Fax.
Yes.
IT.
Shouts to Mickey.
And everybody's still in that mix. So Cool Kids, still homies, Sir Michael Rocks, Chuck, all those dudes. And it turned into SOSA, Society of Spoken Art.
I had that coming up.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was like, all right, cool. We made that one remix, the Beeman remix, which is fire.
Fire.
And then it was just kind of, all right, let's try and do this. And we really tried. Like, same thing with CRS. Like, yo, let's get a person who's not a rapper to organize this. It might have been somebody who was working with Mickey at the time when he had his deal. I was like, yo, just make sure this happens. And it didn't happen.
Oh,
but
man.
it's fine. It's fine. But that energy went into SOSA.
Yeah, so SOSA is another one that I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
And it's the Society of Spoken Art. And I'm not going to list all the names because it's a lot of it. It's more names than the All City Chess Club.
Yeah.
But this one, it appeared that it was like an application process and all this type of stuff. So what were the requirements of being a part of SOSA? Is it still a thing?
SOSA's still a thing.
So I can be part of that. I can join that.
Yeah. Would you want to join SOSA's thing?
Quick give your
So SOSA was like, yo, rappers are getting fucked in the industry because we don't have any collective bargaining power.
This is very
right.
true, yeah.
So we need something in the shape of a union or something. How do we do that? Right? What steps do we take? And it was kind of like, all right, we show what collectivity can do. And if you can get to a space where even if it's a social issue, if you can get all of the top rappers to rap about that particular issue in unison to their various communities, you can affect some real deep change, at least from a sonic level, where the theme song that you can't escape or the subject matter that you can't escape, no matter whose mixtape you go to or SoundCloud page or YouTube, whatever, everybody's pointed at this particular subject, like how unions do,
Yeah.
So how do you build that, but also navigate all of the perils of working with other artists? So their management, their egos, all these other pieces. And so I was like, all right, we can't do it from a creative standpoint, right? It was like, hey, what you think about my verse? Like, what you think about my verse? It's like, what I think about your verse is verse. And it was like, all right, we can't do it from a creative, everybody get in the studio, start rapping shit. And it was like, all right, let's do it from a business standpoint. And there's a group called Actors Equity, which basically negotiates contracts for stage actors, right? So there's a whole big thing, and the standards are set, and the contracts go through them, whatever. But they got tons of lawyers, been doing it forever. Their business is very stable, et cetera. But it was like, everybody got their own lawyer. You know, and everybody got their own management.
Yeah.
You know, and some people don't want the management ain't gonna want their contracts to get looked at because they're taking 99% of their shit for 200 years, right?
Music business.
You know how it goes. So, and I ain't talking about the label, I'm talking about just their personal management situations, right? It could be something that's, you know, I may look at it like, yo, you getting fucked. But it's like, nah, dude, help me recover from my drug habit, right? Type situation. So who knows what it may be. So, all right, we can't do the business because it's gonna be too many lawyers trying to fuck us over. So it's like, okay, why don't we do academics? Because everybody's stupid. So can't nobody say like, yo, I'm smarter than you. It's like, no, everybody dumb. We don't know nothing. So, but it was like, all right, let's do it on academics, but let's base it around communication theory, linguistics, computational poetics, just a range of things that involve the spoken word, you know? And let's become masters of that part, right? So most rappers know how to do it, but they don't know what they're doing beyond a certain level. So it's like, metaphors. Like, what's a metaphor?
Yeah.
Rapper like, I don't know what a metaphor is. Like, I told you niggas ain't know what was going on. But we did. So we bought a bunch of books, like the same book, distributed them to a few cats. Everybody started reading like Linguistics for Dummies and was like, nah, this ain't the one. So we're like, okay, let's find another book on linguistics. Then let's talk about communications theory, semiotics. Before you know it, we had this curriculum together. And went out and tapped to what I considered at the time and still to this day the best rappers in the world. So Daylight IT, Chino XL IT, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Who else is all in there? Mickey Fax IT, like this core kind of foundation members, ASAP Rock IT, like all these. I went to Homeboy Sam, and Homeboy Sam was like, "What? I'm too good for that." No,
and he loves books.
No, we got a book club together. That's the homie. But went out to all these different rappers, and at the same time went and matched it with all these different professors, right, at different institutions. So went to MIT, went to UPenn, went to Harvard, went to all these spots, and just like, hey, what's a book that speaks to this, you know, that is dumb enough for us to be able to process, but then also challenged us. So we got a whole curriculum together, and we had this kind of journeyman or master core as founding members, and then we opened it up to apprentices. So the apprentice program is 2 years, whatever your skill level is. We go for higher end kind of MCs, but that's not the point. The point is to like get you informed on this educational side. So we had 2 apprentice classes thus far. They run for 2 years. Our master core is deep, and then we got a bunch of academics and residents from different schools, from Yale, this, that, and the third. And all of that kind of was cooking for like the past like 8-9 years. You know, so Nikki Jean IT.
Shouts to Nikki Jean.
It's the glue to keep it all together. And it's some phenomenal MCs. So while there isn't a All City Chess Club group chat, there is a wild and crazy SOSA group chat where people just dive in with lyrics and thoughts and theories and stuff like that. And so now we kind of scaled back because I went to MIT. Yeah. And so MIT is an extension of the SOSA energy. Anyway, and so now it's like we just tap particular people like that as needed. And then the hope is in the next like 5 to 10 years, as these 2 apprentice classes are approaching their mastery phase, you become master at 10 years in SOSA. They're in their journeyman stages now. When they're accomplished, then we'll open it back up to do more like deeper apprentice programs. But until then, you know, Mickey Fax IT and Chilla Jones IT are doing Pendulum Inc. I'm at MIT. Nikki Jean IT's at Rhymesayers. There's different folks in different spots that are just still keeping that energy going.
Okay, and when you say IT, what do you?
Can't tell you that.
Okay.
But the reason that we call each other IT is because Chino XL.
This is top secret
IT,
shit.
yeah.
I love it though. Yeah. I love it. Shout out to SOSA. Shout out to Mickey Fax too. I wanted to say shout out to him because that Pendulum Inc. shit is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I love what he's doing with that over there. But I want to get off the group subject after this one last question. Yeah. Because this is not a group that you have planned, but you'd like to start groups. So I'm gonna pitch one to you. It's called Guys with Glasses, Niggas with Glasses. We can workshop the name.
Niggas with Glasses?
Niggas with Glasses.
Wow.
We can workshop the name, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like this is a collective I get on the ground floor of because I've been rocking glasses for the whole time. Sometimes you take them off, sometimes you don't. But you know what I'm saying? Or
niggas who need glasses to see versus niggas who need glasses.
Yes, actual glasses.
That's 2 different things.
So, yeah, like...
Because Mickey Fax IT, He don't need glasses.
He don't?
He wear them. And I looked one day, he ain't had no lenses in his glasses. I was like, bro, what we doing? What we doing in these streets?
I thought he would have contacts when he didn't have lenses in.
I don't know that.
Fashion glasses.
Yeah, he might, you just flipped the script. He might have had contacts.
I think Mickey Fax was such a style maven that I feel like he would put in contacts to wear frames just to kill the game. The nigga was killing it. He was the first, like that super shit. Oh man, we could.
All right, niggas who need glasses.
Niggas who need glasses.
I like that.
My question for you about glasses, though, because you're known for your glasses, at least for me, as a person who wears glasses.
Okay.
Have you ever? I mean, you've landed on one lens shape. Have you ever like switched up the style of glasses?
Yeah, I switched them up. I got joints. This is right now. I'm in practical old man mode. So it's like whatever is comfortable. Let's just put that on. Is it free? Do I get discount? Give me that.
Is this through my healthcare provider? Right.
Let me get all
give me them
that.
counter glasses.
I switch it up. All my whenever you see me in sunglasses, they're all prescription. So all my glasses are prescription. If I take these off, this becomes a void.
Yeah. So you
cannot penetrate.
You put in contacts.
No, I never wear contacts.
Oh shit! So you just go sunglasses? You like Stevie Wonder behind them shits?
No, they're prescription.
Oh,
yeah. All my glasses are prescription.
That's some kind of rich nigga shit.
It's not even rich. That's like practical. That's not rich at all.
I got transitions, and I hate them because when I come in a room, I'm just But so okay, I'm getting some prescription shades.
Yeah,
fine.
It's a vibe.
It is a vibe. I just haven't never tried to do it. But outside of us and Mickey, I can only think of two other rappers who constantly have prescription lenses on.
Okay.
Pimp C.
Okay.
And Sexy Red wears glasses a lot. So she was just.
Oh, you think Sexy Red needs glasses?
She wears glasses all the time. She has not taken the glasses off since.
She hasn't.
Yeah. Is she
Sexy in the group? I'm with it.
Can you think of anybody else we could add to this?
That wears glasses? That should be in the group?
Because it's me, you, Mickey, Sexy Red, and Pimp C.
Sexy Red, Pimp C. Rest in peace, Pimp C.
Rest in peace, Pimp C.
Scarface wears glasses, right?
Face Mob.
Face Mob.
Yeah, Face Mob wears glasses.
Face Mob.
It's a lot of like people that wear glasses. I think that in their older age they have to put the.
But who need them? That's the cutoff.
I want to talk about technology.
Yes.
Because something I stumbled across on your Instagram page, one of the most amazing things I've seen in tour technology is you made the hood microwave.
Oh wow.
Do you remember this?
Oh, you talking about my engineering feats.
And we got Happy New Year. We got the pizza.
The hood microwave, dog. You gotta understand,
You feel me, bro? You know what I'm saying? You feel me, bro? Look at that. All 2019.
Hood microwave, right there.
Your engineering feats. You were a builder, nigga.
Yeah,
Do you remember this?
I remember that.
It was. I'm gonna describe it for the viewing audience because we probably gonna put a clip of it in there, whatever. But it was a pizza box with a blow dryer mounted on top of it, balanced on a cup and another cup, and the blow dryer was heating the pizza. It was like a pizza oven. This is a motherfucking genius. Outside of the rapping.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Hood microwave, right there.
So, and as a dude who's been on tour and had to warm up food in the hotel room, we've ironed pizza, nigga. Like
yeah. Like, that's messy.
It is messy. But you do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do when you're home.
My question is, you have a history in invention and engineering and being innovative.
Yeah.
Another invention that I found out was credited to you is Rap Genius.
Yeah.
They made Rap Genius because of you.
Yeah, that's the.
It makes sense. It makes sense when you think about it. But I was like, nigga, what am I reading?
yeah, that was the thing. I remember this one. It kind of just first started. It was bubbling to the point where the labels were paying attention.
Yeah.
And I remember the kid who started it came up to Atlantic. Shout out to my man Busy. And we had a meeting. He was like, yo, we started Rap Genius to break down your lyrics. I was like, okay. Can I have some money? But I think part of it is they did it to just break down all types of dense text.
Yeah.
So I think it was like some literature in there, maybe some other pieces and parts, because it wasn't just rap.
Right.
It was like other like whatever people would come
poetry
in and
genius and all types of shit. Yeah.
But that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. So
Listen.
So somebody prove me wrong. And the homie, rest in peace, he passed away. So there's nobody to refute.
Nobody to refute.
And only witnesses to be like, yeah, that's what happened. Like that's what dude said.
I'm a witness. Cool. It's been documented. We got 3 cameras.
Bada
it's a
bang.
fact. He is the Rap Genius. And speaking of being a genius, You are a Saybrook Fellow at Yale.
Yeah.
And part of MIT's CAST program, which is Center for Art, Science, and Technology.
Yeah.
Rap has been used as an educational tool for a very long time, either purposefully or inadvertently. You learn a lot of shit from rap music, or teachers might put some information in the song.
Yeah.
My question is, what do you feel like is being gained from teaching rap inside of a classroom setting as like an art form?
Mm-hmm. That's one of the central tensions at SOSA, is like, even though we do that, we try and formalize and standard, there's folks in SOSA, you know, who go unnamed, who are like, you know, it's in the wild. You know, it's in the wild. It's a thing that's learned in the wild, right? And to perfect it and to master it, it's in the wild. And to standardize it does something to it, you know, that pulls things out of it. But
yeah, not to cut you off, because the argument can be made about like how when jazz got put in institutions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was the first thing I thought of. But I also see the value in it being taught in classrooms. Right. I just wanted to like get your perspective on it.
Right, so the question would be, so this is what happens. So you make that statement, and it's like, okay, let's go proof it, right? And you say, all right, so leaning on the jazz piece, right? Did Miles Davis go to school to learn music?
He did not.
Yes, he fucking did.
He did? See, I don't know.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And he dropped out, right? But he went to school. There was school to go to learn music.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
In a structured way, right? But do most people who go to school for anything, come out doing that profession? And doing it to a degree where they're actually like change makers or icons of that field, whatever it be. I'm talking about fire department, right? Like, or whatever you went to school for, right? So maybe we put too much weight on the academy, but at the same time too, we put too much weight on the learned and in the wild, right? And there's certain things you can't learn in the wild, right? Because those areas don't exist. I mean, I was just driving past some shit the other day where it's like it's a training campus for the dudes who do electrical work outside. So like railroad electrical junction boxes and like light poles and stuff like that. Yeah. You drive past their campus and there's just all these like lighting poles, and there's a fake railroad track but set up like a real railroad track with a stop and the whole thing. And it's all for them to go train. Because you would never do that. You can't just be like, yo, I'm finna be a railroad electrician, right? I mean, just go pick a box and start playing with it. You can't do that. So I think there's certain stages to rap. I think there's certain things where like, no, you're not gonna become the signed artist. Like, it's not gonna happen, right? But in that also, that was so much of just a commercial goal. So SOSA is not commercially oriented at all. Like, we don't care about your commercial career, your commercial successes, whatever. We're just interested in you understanding the fundamentals of your craft. And in understanding the fundamentals of your craft, you understand the fundamentals of language. Once you understand the fundamentals of language, you'll understand the fundamentals of cognition, because our language is a product of our cognition and how we think. Once you start to understand cognition, you can understand the human brain, human psychology, all these other pieces. You become you open up windows to the world, right? So now when you go become whatever you're gonna be, and you just rap on the side, but you're prepared in a different way, like, you understand the human capacity, you understand the human moment, you understand why people synergize, why people separate, hopefully in a way more informed way than somebody who doesn't have that type of training, right?
Yeah.
And those things you have to learn in a structured way. You're not going to learn linguistics on the fly, right?
This is true.
And I would make the statement, I'm getting in my diatribe now and I'll land though, you can't, there is no such thing as the wild. That's my position. There's no such thing as the wild. Everything's form, right? Everything is, I'm a formalist. Everything is structured, right? So the wild is just a type of structure, right? And why not refine it to get more optimal results? You know, that's my piece.
Spoken like a true Saybrook fellow.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
SOSA out in this bitch. You've also partnered with Google's Webby Award-winning TextFX project.
Why I gotta be SOSA out in this bitch and not like Yale up in this bitch? Yeah, it's like I get Yale, but SOSA in this motherfucker. It's like, come on now.
Let me reverse that.
We're not like super.
Saybrook up in this bitch.
There we go.
SOSA. MIT off of this whole bitch.
They
you know what I'm saying?
Saybrook gonna love that. Say what? Okay.
All right. So you've also partnered with Google's Webby Award-winning TextFX project.
Yes.
How did you become the face of the project? You said you developed it. You helped develop it. And did you have any reservations I know the answer to this question, but I just want to get you to say it.
Yeah.
Did you have any reservations about helping them use rap to train a large language model?
No reservations to help them train a model. The model's already trained on rap.
Okay.
Right? Siri, back in the day, you could ask Siri to rap for you. Siri would kick a verse for you that sound like Biggie.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never had Siri on my phone, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't turn on voice.
Why?
Because my Cincinnati accent, it never understands what I'm saying. Like when I say some shit sometimes, like the way I pronounce certain vowel sounds, it just does not understand me. It's the most frustrating shit on earth. So I just type it in.
Okay.
And I can't
I'm
see.
sorry.
So
I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of your impairment.
It's a Midwest nigga, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
Midwest fellows. Sorry about that.
I apologize for your speech impediment.
Speech, visual. I'm impaired. I'm just impaired, nigga.
No, the model and TextFX. So the model's the model, right? It's just this big, large language model that is just there processing, right? It can spit out gibberish if you want it. It can spit out something that's very specific. It's just how you apply the model. So you still need kind of like, things to kind of plug into it to make it do something specific to meet your needs, right? The model doesn't care. Like the model itself doesn't care what you want it to do, right? So for me, it was like, I wanted to not write whole raps, right? Because you already got things that can do that, right? I wanted to take my thought processes, I call them micros. So when I go into writing a rap, my mind already has like certain frames that it just like daisy chains together or like simile, right? We're now in simile mode, so let's create a bunch of similes. Word parse mode, so let's break out the words. Let's take table, right? And table, blah, BLE, we pronounce the L, blah, 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 right? Let's just play with this word, right? Start flipping this word around. And then myriad other things, et cetera, dot, dot, dot. And it's like, I just want those. I just want those micros. I don't want the whole thing, because I'm not interested in removing the rapper from the process, right? Or removing the human. But with that said, there's things that existed even at the time that we were building TextFX that already did that. So you had ChatGPT still rocking in, and you had I keep a phone, we're doing, building SOSA. I'm checking in on anything that has to do with rap in the computational space. So there was tons of apps, like rhyming dictionaries, rap generators. I got them on my phone that come in and out of existence. But in their moment, it's like, you could have, in 2015, there was a rap generator app that you could have used to write whole raps for you. Were they great raps? No. They were decent. Were they trained on somebody? Yeah. There were some, you could see that they were trained on Eminem. Some of them were trained, like whoever was the popular dude, they had whatever training that they did to generate that was available. So for me, it's like, all right, remove all styles, remove training on a particular person. I just want the way I think to be represented. And so that's what it is. So TextFX is like AI Lupe, So we sat down, they mapped my mind, just like, when you do this, what do you do? Okay, when I think about a word, this is what I do, step by step by step by step. And then it took the real geniuses at Google to be like, okay, let's translate those big steps into computational mathematical steps. And then we can feed that back into the model and then build, right? That kind of little mini program for you. And that's basically what it was. And we did that 9 times, across 9 different little functions.
Right. So I was using it, like I was telling you, and it's absolutely brilliant. Another thing I want to talk about is martial arts.
Yeah.
You were a part of a docuseries named Beaten Path.
Beaten Path.
That followed you on a journey to apply your lyrical skill to martial arts movements and learn from the masters.
Yeah.
What is your overall connection to martial arts?
Days were long. The training was actual training, so it wasn't anything that was like watered down or anything like that. Even though it was more basic forms, there's so much stuff that you don't see that was happening, where you like, it just looks, you learned that really quickly. It's like, no, it took me 4 hours, to learn that one sequence or to learn that one stance or to learn this one thing properly.
So shout out to Bonnie Chan Wu, my partner in Beaten Path, who's like actually the catalyst for putting all that together and taking me back to China and doing all that. So shout out to Bonnie, who actually runs Complex China.
Oh, really?
Aside. Anyway, so she's in the culture. I know y'all have my magazine around here somewhere. My complex magazine. Yeah.
Shouts to Joe.
Shout out to Bonnie.
Super Lupe in this.
You feel me? You feel me? I wanted the Cause cover though. They gave P the Cause cover. It was two art. It was like Todd James, and then they had Cause, and so it was two covers. It was like a double cover.
Yeah. The other cover on this one is.
It's for real.
Not this one.
Oh no. Okay. Shout out to Cassie. So it's for real. And for real had Cause.
Yeah, because they have an article in there.
Yeah.
And the article was talking like the article like I guess the headline tagline was talking about the Everybody Knows remix, which ties into the CRS thing.
So Beaten Path is the product of, or introducing people to my real thing that I really do is martial arts.
Yeah.
So my real family business, if it was like, hey, what's your family business? It was like, oh, ours is karate schools. So my dad started, I don't know how many karate schools through his life, started doing martial arts when he was like 14, mastered a bunch of different things, Japanese martial arts, Chinese martial arts, some Korean things, some African stuff like that, just a pool of all this kind of martial arts information. So you come into our house, there was a library, there was like a martial arts books, all these different things. So I'm the kid reading Sun Tzu comic books, reading all these different, like the Art of War as a comic book, right? Just for kids, crazy. Right? And so that was our thing. So I grew up doing martial arts, judo, karate, Iaido, Japanese samurai sword, wushu, Chinese martial arts, all these different things. So Beaten Path was kind of like, my dad always used to say, if you get the opportunity, go back to where these things started. He's like, for me, I'm just giving you glimpses, and even though I'm mastered certain arts, I'm still just giving you kind of glimpses into these spaces, right? Mm-hmm. But what he always wanted his students to do, something called Musha Shugyo, which is like the warrior's journey. So after a certain point in time, you leave your dojo, you leave your compound, you leave your house, and you go explore the world. And he always wanted his students to do that. So it's like, at a certain point, go back to Japan, learn karate in, Okinawa, right? Go back to China, learn kung fu at Shaolin, right? Yeah. Go learn, African martial arts, go learn capoeira, like in Angola. Like if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. So he always would push people back to the source. So Beaten Path was me going to China, right? And it wasn't deep. It wasn't like, like I'm there for months. But it was enough to kind of honor my father's like legacy in a certain way. And then we were supposed to do them in Japan and France, wherever there's a martial arts culture, we were gonna go like hit and learn and do that stuff. So yeah, that's my thing.
So, and what I also saw was that Virgil, rest in peace Virgil, made a dojo.
Oh yeah.
In honor of you. Yeah. And now I'm discovering of your dad, the karate school.
Yeah. Which,
like, the question that I had about that, other than just being like really cool, like see you, was like what is your connection to Virgil? Like,
Yeah, there was to explain that to folks, there was the last Louis show that Virgil did. It was like martial arts themed. Mm-hmm. And so the school, like the video might still be up because it's like a whole movie, like a mini movie shot. The video in that movie, there's a school, like you go to like this weird forest and then there's like this storefront, and it's a karate school, martial arts school, and it's called Four Winds, right? Yeah. And so Four Winds is representative of my dad. He had our school was the Tornado School of Martial Arts, School of the Four Winds, right? Oh wow. And so the tornado, all of that stuff was like kind of pulled from my dad. So he wanted to honor like black martial artists. And so he came to me. The reason he could do that is because I've been knowing Virgil for forever, right?
Did you know him pre-music or you met him through?
Knew him, this is probably like 2005. He was doing, when he was doing his master's at IIT, Illinois Institute of Technology for Architecture, I think. They had a radio station there and they offered us to do, somehow through the, you're coming up as an artist, meeting people, this dude Rohit was running the radio programs there and was like, hey, do y'all want to do a radio show? And so me and my man Bishop G was like, we're gonna do FNF radio, right?
Bishop
First 15
G,
radio.
Remember that, yeah.
And so, but it was either the show before or the show after. We didn't know what we were doing. So either the show after us was Fort Home Radio, which was Virgil. So Virgil was DJing, playing like music from all over the world, all this different stuff. And so then he would stick around to produce our show, meaning like work the boards,
Oh,
plug
wow.
everything in, yeah, run the music, stuff like that. So Virgil was like our tech production dude. And then that was how our relationship kind of began. And then it went, St. Alfred came to Chicago. He went to a Ye concert. He knew A-Track from DJing.
Yeah.
A-Track was Ye's DJ at the time, and then that's how all that stuff starts to happen. So anything that I needed, like even early Lupe merch is all Virgil. People never knew. It was like, yo, hey, can you make this logo for me? He was like, yeah, da, 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 da. So it scales up to the end where, he reached out to me one day and was like, man, I'm working on a show. You know, I want to like represent your dad. And did the whole thing and then passed away.
Man, that is tragic but beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful like button on the story. So
I think he knew, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I think he knew, and in that period of his life, he was just giving the biggest gifts, the most optimal gifts to all of the people in his life, you know? And so for me, it was like, hey, I'm gonna do something for your father, this martial arts thing. And I was like, bruh.
And what a gift, like to go from like just engineering your first radio show when you were like trying to figure shit out to like that. It's just, that's a crazy arc, man.
Yeah, he had a wonderful life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a bit of a transition, you also collect stuff in my mind. Do you collect?
Kinda, sorta. I used to kinda, sorta.
Okay.
Yeah.
So related to karate, martial arts, like how many gis and samurai swords do you have?
Oh man, I got tons of swords. I just bought a sword named it Starlight.
They all have different names?
Not all of them.
Okay.
The ones that deserve names.
Yeah.
Starlight I just bought. It's a wushu. It's a straight sword for doing wushu, but it's very, very heavy and it's one piece of steel. I got different swords. I'm working on a brand now called Nishigawa Iaido Club, which is, you know, the first person I ever saw with a samurai sword was a black man. And on the west side of Chicago, you know.
That's
so Nishigawa means west side. So we're still figuring out what I want to do with it, how I want to build it, but one of the goals is to make swords, you know, become a sword maker, like my dad. You know, my dad made weapons and swords and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a ton of swords. Favorite sword is probably, going back to Virgil, and I guess we're wrapping it up, right? There was a movie called Lone Wolf and Cub. It came to America as Shogun's Assassin.
Shogun's Assassin, I know that one. Yeah.
Warrior assassin with the kid in the baby carriage.
Yeah.
Right? I got his sword. Not the sword from the actual movie, but the sword that he carried. There's a company that did a remake of that sword.
Wow.
And there's a scene in the movie where he has a sword and a ball, and he's like, you know, with the little baby.
Yeah.
He's like, choose the sword,
Yeah.
you know, and join me. Choose the ball.
Enjoy
your mother
in death.
Well, look at you. Look at you.
I've heard the Jesus album before.
Okay, so follow me.
Yeah.
Virgil made that ball for me, an exact replica of that ball.
Wow.
Right? And so that ball and that sword are sitting on my mantle. They're my like prized possessions, like sitting on my mantle at home.
From what I can tell, you have a pretty intentional media diet in terms of what you listen to.
Yeah.
And I say that because I was watching some interview where you were saying you hadn't really kept up with the Drake Kendrick back and forth because at a certain point it got a little bit too dark and weird for you.
Yeah.
What are you currently listening to? Like what rappers and what sort of music are you into right now?
I don't listen to a lot of rap.
Okay.
Only because I'm saturated. Like my students, like I have to grade raps now. Like that's people send me raps all day for me to grade. I gotta listen to this shit. So I don't listen to a lot of rap, just enough to stay current with certain things. But then my exploration is more historical in rap. So I'm still deeply researching like boom bap techniques, you know, and stuff like that. But anyway, not to say that there aren't a ton of great. I just met this kid Overcast the other day from Oakland, who's dope. Did a little freestyle session with him. But I listen to a lot of smooth jazz, right?
Hell yeah.
So I'm listening to like Diamond Dress, right? Like it's so much stuff that we missed for the sake of just being like targeted by hip hop, for us to just be, if you black, it's rap and that's it. Maybe some R&B, but that's when you get old, you know, like whatever. But like Indian ragas, Spanish flamenco joints. Watch a lot of like, there's a lot of ill like Indian yoga dance joints that are like crazy.
What?
You know?
Indian yoga dance?
Yeah, it's a thing.
It just sounds like 3 words you put together. But
when I work out, I listen to just pure like dance music, electronic music. But my main thing now on a daily basis is smooth jazz.
Okay.
Like I have to surround myself with like smooth melodies.
it makes you walk out the house with a different sort of pop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Calmer.
Now I know why it exists. It's like this exists for when you turn 40.
It's way different.
Yeah, smooth jazz in your 20s is weird, you know, in your 30s maybe, but in your 40s, it's like, this is chiropractor for your soul.
I inherited my dad's record collection. I have all his records. And like, I remember in my 20s going through his shit, like, ain't really nothing here. Now, nigga, every record is a slap. It's all just jazz, smooth jazz.
Right, now you know why.
Now I get it.
He was depressed, tense, stressed out, like some other things going behind the scenes. He just wanted to come home like, listen, before I kill everybody in this house, let me put on this Kenny G real quick. And it's new jazz being made.
Yeah.
Like there's brand new jazz artists, brand new jazz songs. So I just, whatever radio station, or even if I'm on like Apple, I go straight to like smooth jazz radio and just let it rock.
Yeah, and so going from jazz to drill, we're just going to the opposite end of the pool right now.
Okay.
Jazz to drill. Drill Music in Zion was the name of your album. My question is about drill music in general. How do you feel about drill music, being that it was originated in Chicago?
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. Like, and it's gone global. Like, what does it feel like this, not what does it feel like, but what's your take on drill music?
I mean, it still terrifies me. It terrified me when I first seen it come out, you know, and emerge and pulled up, and it was like, oh, but not scary in that way, because I'm on some street shit too, right?
I know. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. That's the other part.
Don't fuck with Lupe.
Or fuck with me and find out what happened. But no, don't. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Leave that man alone.
Because are we taking it serious? Like, are we really taking it serious? Like, black life, right? And the black quality of life, and the black futurism, and where are we going as a race of people in America, right? That conversation changes when you go to different countries. But in America, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we really doing? I'm not letting my kids even watch anything that shows violence at any capacity, right? I'm showing my kids hopeful, helpful, beautiful messaging. I'm gonna surround them with that, right? I don't even want them listening to shit that got words in it, so they're gonna play the piano.
That smooth jazz.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, for real, like, they're playing the piano, right? Like, what are we, what's the real, and this question is past, because I already know the answer, right? But at that time, it was like, the music I was making was like, man, let's uplift, let's be prepared for whatever's coming, but let's, you know, I tell my kids some of the kids in my school, they aren't even in my class. It's not a lot of black kids at MIT. But when they come, you know, and they come to office for whatever reason. And it's some of it's harsh, but some of it's like, I keep it real because I'm not finna lie to them. Like, look, man, we don't need any more Marcus Garveys. You know, like, we don't need any more balls to the wall, you know, revolutionaries. We got enough of them, right? We don't need any more rappers. We super saturated, we good, we good. We don't need more rappers, right? What we need is you to be a physicist. We need physicists and chemists and engineers. That's what needs to be, you know, ad nauseum in the black community, right? Yeah. We don't even need bankers or financial, like, we need like folks who like win Nobel Prizes ad nauseum repeatedly across time, right? And I need you to remember that as a student here, because you're on the pathway to do that, right? To stay in the lab and invent that thing. Fuck the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. Fuck who this new gang chief just got out of prison and he doing an interview on such and such and you finna spend an hour. Fuck that. Spend an hour on YouTube not researching the, Hoover Groover gang war, shout out to the H. But like how to study more accurately or just talk on nuclear physics or just do some other shit, right? So to know that that's not what was happening and, the whole time what was being incubated was like kill more black people shit, but at 12, and some of the kids like 10. I remember Lil Mouse.
Lil Mouse, yep.
That shit was terrifying.
Yeah.
Right? Not because I was afraid, because I got more guns than y'all. I know more killers than y'all.
Yeah.
Right?
But just to see
that that's what, like, we creating child soldiers. Like, that's the shit we get upset about seeing in the Congo or some shit like that. Right? Kids running around with AK-47s. But you turn around and look at Chicago, you got kids running around with AK-47.
Yep.
You're like, this shit don't make no sense. So I had to come to terms with, I just had to get into my gangster shit. And was like, it's gangster shit. Okay, cool. Just make sure that make sure y'all keep that shit over there. Which is what most people want. Keep that shit in Inglewood. Right? Or keep that shit contained to y'all little gang piece. Right? To y'all little beefs.
Yeah.
And eventually y'all gonna whack each other. And it hurts, but okay. But just don't fuck up Lit Terry, who on his way to college or on his way to class, or he getting straight A's and B's, or he interested in that. Protect him. And as long as y'all protecting him, even when y'all whacking each other, cool. And some of them do that. Some like, look, we'll never let it touch this side, but I'm killing this nigga when I see him. Right? It's like, all right, cool. I had to separate the music from the lyrics. So the beats is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The beat, the energy, and it was like, I had to appreciate this, but at a certain point I tapped out too. I was like, I can't keep listening to this shit. But shout to the homies, Shout to the homies. I went and got niggas, like went to the hood, did songs with them, and next thing you know, they in jail for murder. So hopefully at the end of the day, everybody get what they need to get out of it, but.
All right, so coming up on this is the end of the interview. I got one more question. I ask everybody for a word of advice.
Yeah.
My question for you is, what advice do you have for someone who's struggling with being disciplined in their craft?
Man. I'm gonna just keep carrying on what the masters say. One master to another master to another master to another master. David Goggins, like, quit being a bitch. No, that's too harsh.
Stay hard.
Persistence. All that, however you say it, super harshly, super subtly, more comfortable so everybody can get it. Say it in a way where you feel like it's your own idea. Whatever tactic you need for whatever person to get them to understand that persistence.
Persistence.
Right? To stay persistent. And this is coming from a jiu-jitsu master, Danaher. He's seen him say this on a podcast. And it was just like, the persistence is the key to mastery. There's all these other things, right? But that one piece about persistence is the vibe, to stay in it at the expense of everything, if you're trying to be a master. Mastery isn't a pretty thing. It's a hard thing. You lose family, you lose friends, you lose money, you lose opportunities. You create repertoires for yourself of being an asshole like myself, right? You make a lot of enemies. You make a lot of friends, you do a lot of beautiful movements and things like that, but you're gonna carpet bomb this village.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna like poison this society of like having personal relationships with people that are healthy and not toxic. You're gonna have a bunch of other shit that's gonna pop up in pursuit of that mastery if you want it. So it's there to be had. So I can understand some people's discipline being shaken because they're realizing like, this is pushing me away from my family. Right? This is pushing me away from my peers and the social groups I want to be in because I really want to master this something simple, this video game, right? Or I really want to master this craft of rap. Or, I really want to master whatever it may be. Stripping.
Master it.
Master that booty shake twerk.
Master that pole.
But just stay persistent, but also understand the whole thing. It's yin and yang. It's dark and light, and it's all intermingled, and the DNA is locked in, and too much evolution, too much change, you got cancer. Not enough change, not enough movement, not enough adaptation. You die from some random, from stubbing your toe on some shit, right? I'll end on this in a dark way, but in a light way. My dad in our karate schools, he always had these signs with just like little things written on them. And the one thing that always stood out for me was he had a sign that said, "Die well." Right? Die well. And it was like, yeah, the one thing you can't control.
The one thing you can't control, yeah.
The other thing you can. So yeah, everybody's gonna go. How do you go? That's something that you can control to a degree.
Listen, the word of advice was a word for real. Like, die well, be persistent. Lupe, thank you so much for sitting at the table with me. Rap genius right here. Once again, shout out to Lupe Fiasco for stopping by the show. He's currently touring his Samurai album, but if you hear this episode after the tour ends, you should go back and check out his Samurai album, as well as the TextFX tool. And that's not only the end of our show, but the end of the season as well, which means that you should either go back to the episodes that you missed or start from the beginning and listen again as a binge. The Almanac of Rap was created, hosted, and written by me, Donwill. The show's executive producers are Donwill and Isha Sesay. The show was produced and directed by Travis Harris. Hassan Skrull is the assistant producer. The show was edited by Baffour. The camera operators are Travis Harris, Kaushik Kalidindi, Melissa Bunny Elian, and Baffour. Art direction was handled by Kaushik Kalidindi. Graphic design by Crystal Simone. The technical director is Compton Timberwolf. Music production was handled by Von P. Brianna Harris is the production assistant. And for those of you who always stick around after the credits for a little something extra, here's the clip that was probably the canary in the coal mine regarding all of this AI business. It's Hologram Tupac at Coachella.
What the fuck is up, Coachella? Throw up a motherfucking finger.
That's it, and I'll see you guys next season on the Almanac of Rap. What's up, Coachella?